everybody. It is Tuesday. Tuesday, I tell you. It is. I checked the calendar. I did. I checked it. It's still only Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday, people of week 56-57. Week 56-57 is here. And how are you today? Happy Tuesday, Kitty. How was your day? How was your Tuesday? Tell me about your day. What is everybody grateful for this Tuesday evening? It is great to have you all here on Tuesday. Hey, Adele and Dazzle. It is good to see you. Good to see you. What is happening all in your world today? A little cooler here still. It was supposed to be in the 60s, but it still felt cool. I had the sweater on today. A nice, a good day. It was a good day to have a good day. How about in your world? Tell me about your world and what was good in your day. Jennifer, oh my God, I am hugs and things like that are supposed to happen to your son, not to you. I mean, the weird things happen to your son with the racks and stuff. I'm sorry you got stitches. More money for less work is good, Kitty. More money for less work. It's been a weird week, I agree with you. It's been a weird week. They have been shopping. They have been spending. It has been a weird week. And then we've had an oddball customer. I know somebody else Karen posted about firing a customer today. And we're going to fire one. Forget what my employee said. My team member said, she was yelling bloody murder at her. Bloody murder, she was yelling. And, she's like, no. I'm like, no, we don't have to take that from anybody. I don't care. We do not have to take that. We do not have to be treated that way. And we do well, Oh, your mask mandate ended. Yeah, but you got to go with that the nationals are still holding to the mask mandate. And I think as long as the national stores hold to it, it'll be okay for you to hold to it as long as your employees get it. As long as your employees aren't beating you up on it, Jennifer, I think you'll be able to do it. And the national stores that actually led the way with mask mandates are still holding to that in areas where the mask mandates have lifted. So, use them as your partner in this. The CVSs, the Best Buys, the Targets of the world are holding to their mask mandates at this time. It is still one of the best things we can do. But it is really, the best that you can do is get your employees to get it. As long as your employees get it. But it's something we're all going to be facing in the coming weeks. But this is not over. This pandemic I can't stress that enough on so many levels. I really know things are feeling good. That's terrible, Adele. That the police had to come over a mask. That is just terrible, and that whole situation just rocks everyone. But the medical side of this is not over yet, okay? And we have a temporary pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and worse than the temporary pause, that's going to cause a loss of faith in people in that vaccine while they figure this out, even though it's only expected to be a couple-day pause. I think the politics of it for them are bad. Again, marketing has been a terrible thing for the vaccine. They've had a heck of a time marketing it, all of them. And so, this is not over. This is not over. Can't stress it enough. Because we are really just on the cusp of getting a lot of people vaccinated. And a lot still isn't enough to make the virus go away. Until you're seeing normal flu-like numbers, this is not in the genie's not back in the box, or Pandora's not back in the box, I guess is really. Genie's supposed to bring you good things. But this is not back in the box until then. And, we really need that. We need more. So I'm grateful that people are having good sales days. I'm grateful that people are getting vaccinated, but I am also looking at this objectively and saying it's not over. We got a lot of miles left to cover here on this one. We got a lot of miles left to cover. The link. Yeah, Hey, Laurel, it is great to have you here. Great to have you here tonight, live. But the vaccinated ones are excited to get out and shop. They are excited to see people again, because a lot of the early vaxxers really hunkered down for this and have stayed home. So, and then you're their first place to shop, for so many. And I know we have heard it and you all have heard it. This is my first day out and I came here, and, I'm so thankful that they do. I'm so thankful that they are supporting local, that they are getting out and shopping not only their favorite places, their safe place, the place that they love and they find safety in. You are their happy place. I'm going to restate that quote that I posted today in just a minute. Give me a second to get. Whoa, there's my glasses. Hang on a second here. Let's get started with the good morning, good night. The good morning, good night book tonight. Yeah, Michigan's the hot spot, Adele. I think it's because of you guys out on those tiki boats. You guys have been partying out on the tiki boats. We're on page 68 in the Good Morning, Good Night book. The page 68 is where we are tonight. Good morning, you. It's been a minute. My friend likes you. That's it. That's your good morning. But let's talk your happy place. The quote from Gary Ridge, the CEO of WD-40, okay, where, the combination of WD-40 and duct tape fix it all. Yeah, what do you want from a lady from Boston trying to shut things down? The CDC director. Yeah, I heard her on the news encouraging the governor. It's a good play because the CDC director has no power to do that, and the governor isn't going to do it. They already tried to kill your governor once. I can't imagine what would happen if she tried to shut things down again there. Even though I agree, it's a complete hotspot. It's crazy. It's crazy, the numbers that are taken off in Michigan. But I want you to put yourself in this place. Imagine a place where you go to work every day. You make a contribution to something bigger than yourself. You learn something new. You're protected and set free by a compelling set of values. And you go home happy. Our job as leaders is to create that place, because happy people create happy families. Happy families create happy communities, and happy communities create a happy world. And my gosh, we need a happy world. Boom. There is, again, I posted that in NARTS, and it's over on Resale Strong too, I think. That quote from Gary at WD-40, because that is what we create. That is what small business creates in this. That is how we get to the other side. That is what we do. You can't lose sight of that, okay? And as you see that your people's happy place, that your store's happy place, you can't forget, you can't neglect. You have to remember that that is what you are creating, not only for your customers, but for your employees, families, for your suppliers, okay? You are creating a happy community. And that is what your leadership in your store does. So it creates a happy community. As retailers like Walmart, Macy's, and more woo customers back, some have to clean up shop. Crumpled clothes and bare shelves, that's what they're finding. As retailers focused on e-commerce and faced supply chain challenges during the pandemic, store appearance often became an afterthought. Walmart shares were downgraded by a research firm earlier this year because of its sloppy stores, and Macy's has been criticized for its poor presentation. The global retail data said it's time for retailers to clean up their act or risk losing customers. I mean, we've all seen it. I mean, quite honestly, when you walk in another store, it's more likely that you walk into Kohl's or Macy's or something, you're picking up clothes off the floor. You're straightening hangers. You're fixing displays, okay, throughout the store. And, you know, this article is citing that the coming months may be especially crucial for retailers as they try to woo shoppers back to stores, where sales trends tend to be more profitable. Consumers have money they've stashed away after saving on commuting costs, eating out, and traveling, and they have stimulus checks waiting to be spent. And they want to buy stuff. Having a store that's messy and illogically laid out is very difficult for the consumer because the consumer has to sift through a lot of things and they have to do a lot of searching to find the things they want. Foot traffic is already picking up. Store visits across the country have doubled year over year during the week of March 22nd. That followed a 60% in store visits the week before. But consumers may hang on to pandemic-related expectations as a heightened desire for safety and cleanliness. A consumer psychologist at Vanderbilt University said store presentations will shape whether consumers feel eager or anxious to shop. And cleanliness is the most important. Hey, Kelly, how are you? You know, when you go through a store with shelves and racks and everything messy, empty, and you end up seeing carts with stuff, and people just walk away from it. You know, Walmart is trading off its 52-week high because people are concerned that they aren't going to be able to handle it in store. Okay, you know, I mean, we talk a lot on here about, you know, keeping up with your website in this post throughout the pandemic while also reopening your store and maintaining both and the work involved in that. And these big guys have advantages of technology and money and other things that some of these things that at levels that you can't invest in, but they're having real growing pains. And, you know, the supply chain stuff is far from fixed. I mean, the big ship is still stranded. That big ship, they actually are not letting it leave. It's out of the canal area, but they're not letting it leave until it agrees to pay damages for this. And stores are trying to create a deeper connection between people that shop online and do store pickup. Okay, so they're trying to create a deeper connection with those customers. It is very, very true. So I'm going to step back into finance for a second, because another thing that's happening in the world, I'm going to step back into finance where I was last night, because I need to clarify a couple things, and I want to talk a little more about what I talked about last night with money. But what I now have some additional numbers to quantify. I've been saying banks are not lending. Banks are not lending. So, hanging on to cash is still critical. Not letting your cash reserves go down too low as much as possible. That cash is still king. Well, the top 25 U.S. banks, the top 25 banks in the country, have reduced their holdings their loan holdings by 8%, while deposits rose 16%. Okay, so their loan balances, they're reducing their loans. They're not making loans. They're not making new loans, and that reduced it by 8%, while their deposits have gone up 16%. So usually higher deposits mean more lending in normal times. In normal times, when deposits are high, banks are willing to lend. They're willing to issue lines of credit, everything else. And that just hasn't been what's seen, especially in the small business sector. Okay, we are seeing banks reduce lines of credit. We are seeing banks close lines of credit, add restrictions or added covenants to lines of credit. So, the idea that, while interest rates are low, getting money is hard, okay, if you need it. So I don't want you to be in a position where you need it. I'm not encouraging debt, but I'm encouraging good, sound financial principles, okay? And what I talked about last night, because I've had many of you ask, and I was really quoting some Dave Ramsey principles, okay? And I'm not here to preach to you, but I was quoting some of his principles. And basically, how much cash should I have on hand has been one of the big questions. Michelle, how are you? Great to have you here. How much cash should you hang on to? And, Dave's concept of a 3 to 6 month of expense emergency fund is right on there, both business and personally. His math is right there. And part of that, even on the low end of that, is, if there was another shock to the economy, if something happened that, caused another shock to the economy, a meteor landed in Central Park, a spaceship landed in Central Park, I don't know. Nothing is off the, after a 100-year pandemic, nothing is out of the realm of possibility. Marvin the Martian could be coming right down right now. But, that cash is king. And what's more than that is you are a different business. So you are able to adapt quicker. So even on the lower side of that, on the 3-month side of that, you're able to adapt your business and expenses quicker than you were a year ago. Part of what I talked about last night, which was slightly not Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is known for the snowball method of getting rid of debt. Okay, so if you're carrying any debt in your business or the EIDL loan or anything, Dave Ramsey's traditional thing, and I believe in it because it's a psychological problem, not a math problem. And is that you pay the lowest debt to the smallest off in balance, and that way you have wins along the way. And what I talked about last night was cash flow, okay? And using the debt you were paying off to create more cash flow. And so what I talked about last night was actually paying off debt that had a higher required monthly payment. And even if the debt would be paid off sooner or longer, regardless of where the debt would be in a debt snowball, to free up that cash flow, that monthly payment. And I had some questions about that today, so I knew that I didn't 100% explain that right. Hey, Michelle loves Dave Ramsey. That's great to hear. He's a great guy. He's a very smart, practical. He gives practical, common sense advice, Michelle. So I'm all with it. But in this business sense, I divert from it, and I sort of use it as a pandemic diversion because I want you to create cash flow. Okay? Because cash flow, you got to think of your cash as the lifeblood of your business. That's what's running through the veins of your business. And so if you pay off a debt, okay, out of order, okay, if you follow Dave's approach, it would be to pay your lowest to your highest. So, if you had a bill that you owed $10,000 on and another bill that you owed $100,000, you'd pay the $10,000 one off, then the $100,000 one, or a $50,000 one, or $20,000, whatever it was. You'd go in increasing order so that you'd have the psychological win. What I'm suggesting is to see if you can knock out some bigger payments so you create more cash flow to work on the rest of it and also have that cash available, because your higher balance may have a lower monthly payment because it's spread over a longer period of time. And again, I'm not encouraging you to be in long-term debt. I don't want you to be in debt for the rest of your life. I don't want your business to be in debt forever, but I want you to have cash flow. So if you could pay off a debt that was taking $1,000 a month, that you were having to make $1,000 a month payment on, okay. If you had the cash to pay that off, and then you had $1,000 a month of your monthly expenses free, that would be better than paying off a bill that was $100 a month and would only free up $100 of cash flow. And that's sort of what I'm talking about with that, because that $1,000 would put more blood in your veins, in the veins of your business. That would put more cash. It would reduce the stress if there was another shock to your business. If something happened that shocked your business in the process of getting your business debt free, if you had a larger payment that you did not have to make, it would make things easier on you. So that is what I was talking about with that. Hopefully I was a little clearer with it tonight, because that's what I am. Well, and I'm not encouraging that you only pay, Kitty, that you only pay the minimum monthly payment. But I am saying that if you had a shock to the business, okay, if you had that shock to the business, if something happened, you'd be better off with a smaller payment that was over a longer period of time than some big payments. If you had freed that up, if you free up $1,000 a month, or $500 a month is better than freeing up $100 a month. Okay. And just getting that free cash flow, because as long as there's nothing wrong, having that $1,000 free will allow you to put it on the smaller payments and knock those out faster. I just want you to be aware of what your monthly obligations are. So understanding your monthly cash flow, okay? Understanding what your monthly obligations are for business. And actually, that guy named Unexpected Bill does show up. Things happen. Okay, pandemics happen. Okay, floods happen. Hurricanes happen. Snowstorms in the middle of Texas happen that shut down the state for 10 days. Things happen. But if you have the cash flow, they're an inconvenience versus a shutdown to you, okay? Versus truly looking through the couch cushions or the car seat, under the seats in the car for loose change. I want you to have the best cash flow as possible, and that means the lowest monthly obligations, so that you're on the hook for the least amount in monthly obligations as possible. So that's the only diversion I'm making from a business standpoint, and it's only so that you build up more cash reserves right now, because you need it for your business. Because again, yes, things are looking better. Okay, they are looking better. But you look to Michigan, okay, and they're a hot spot right now. Okay, stores in Michigan aren't doing as well as they were a few weeks ago before they became a hot spot. Okay, and I'm hopeful that we don't become a hot spot, or your area doesn't become a hot spot, but who knows? Okay, or you have a civil unrest or something else happens that causes a problem in your area. I mean, there's a lot of your Snoopy Bank for gas money, Michelle. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Your Snoopy Bank for gas money. But that's the kind of thing I want you to be. I don't want you to be in a position, okay? I don't want you to be back in the position that you were in earlier in this pandemic. I don't want you to come out of this. I want you to come out of this stronger than before. You got a kick in the teeth. You got a kick in the teeth. You are a different business now. You are a better business. And I want you to continue being better. I want you to continue being better. And so watching your monthly obligations and having the lowest monthly obligations, that gives freedom. I mean, Dave Ramsey talks about that all the time. Freedom! Yes. Okay, when you have no monthly obligations, it allows for great freedom to do all sorts of things. And in business, you're going to have obligations. You have payroll, you have rent, you have other things. But if you can eliminate the other ones, it makes it so much easier to hit the rent and the utilities and your basic obligations. I guess that's one other thing I have not covered. I'm going to cover real quickly, and it's really off of what I've been talking about, but I just remembered it while I've been doing it. As part of all the government funding that has gone out, all the stimulus, the utilities got stimulus money too. So if you're in a position with your business, okay, and this is for both business and personal, but it's really the little known is that it's available for business. Many utilities in the country got money, okay, where if you're behind on your utilities and you set up a payment arrangement and you honor the payment arrangement, with the money they got, they can give you 2 months of free utilities, 2 months of your bill for free as part of that, as part of getting caught up. I just want to make people aware of it, because I know we are not all in the same place. We are not all in the same place. And the utilities got government money to help support those programs, but they are not well-known programs, okay? So know that those programs exist. Should you have be behind on any utility bills, all the electric and gas companies got money for that under the various stimulus programs that are out there. And I haven't talked about that. I've been meaning to, but I forgot until I just said, that you have expenses like utilities. But that's what I was talking about last night, is reducing, looking at as you look at reducing debt and hanging on to cash, okay, 3 to 6 months of expenses, and anything you can do that reduces your big nut expenses, the higher monthly obligations for debt is a good thing. I want to find this. Do you still have the Snoopy Bank? Michelle, that's what I want to know. I want to know if you still have the Snoopy Bank. Or should we go out searching the internet and find Michelle's Snoopy Bank? That is what I'm wondering. I want to see a picture of Michelle's Snoopy Bank. Oh, and you know what? If we get a picture of it, we'll post it over on norts.org/resale strong. Just like we post everything. We post all the files that I talk about, everything that I reference. And there's a direct link to these videos on the YouTube channel. You're not alone running this store, where you can like, comment, subscribe, and yes, ring the Mickey Mouse bell. We don't have a Snoopy bell, but we have a Mickey Mouse bell, so that you know when a new video drops. You still have him, Michelle. You gotta post a picture of your Snoopy bank. I gotta see your Snoopy bank. You can also share narcs.org/resale strong with everybody you know in business, butcher, baker, candlestick maker. We want to help everybody across the finish line here. We're getting everybody to the other side. I am here every night in the Narcs private Facebook group at more 8 than ish live in the Narcs private Facebook group. But if you have a question in between, you can email me, Neil, Neil at ECIstores.com, Neil at ECIstores.com. We start this program every night with the Good Morning, Good Night book. The Good Morning, Good Night book is how we start this program every night. But if you have a question, not if you have a question, if you were not here at the top of the program, we're on page 68 tonight. Good morning, you. It's been a minute. My friend likes you. Our good night tonight is good night, you. It's been a minute. The friend was me. I'm the friend. I like you. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, there's your graphics. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Neil Abrams, and I do like a good party, a wedding, a bar mitzvah. We will party again. We will party in person. And when we do, I will be there with you. But until then, and until tomorrow night at more 8 than ish, know that you, and most importantly you, yes, you with the Snoopy piggy bank, you're not alone running this store. It's time for dinner, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow night.